Meeting to order, 6:07, November 4th, 2013. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved to approve the minutes of October 21, 2013.
Any discussion, corrections, additions, deletions?
It's going to be as corrected. There's a name in there of the gentleman who's showing the film. Can't remember the name of the film.
Oh, yeah.
Is changed the schedule, and I can't remember the date now. It's going to be the 19th, I believe. The 20th. I mean, it's the 20th. Pretty sure it's the 20th. 20th of November. I'll email you the date when I get it. But his name is not Josh D. Felice, it's Joe. So I know a Josh D. Felice, and I didn't even think about it.
Right.
So we'll correct that.
Any other corrections? All those in favor of accepting the minutes as corrected?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, any abstentions? Any additions or deletions to tonight's agenda?
Might as well pull the Emergency Management Director's report, because I have nothing that won't be discussed anywhere else.
Anything else?
We do have some correspondence we'll get to under correspondence. Some of it may work into new or old business.
UniFirst contract, I still have some additional information that I need to find before we discuss that.
Right.
So we can
to that when we get down onto it.
Well, I was going to say we could pull that so that we don't waste your time on that.
Cross it off.
Anything else? Okay. Warrants.
Warrants. Move that we pay PO 11041, it's payroll, with a period ending date of 10/25/2013 in the amount of $7,752.85.
Second.
Motion made and seconded for PO payroll order number 11041 for $7,752.85. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Move that we pay PO 11042, it's payroll taxes, with a period ending date of 10/25/2013 in the amount of $3,056.36.
Second.
Motion made and seconded for pay order 11042, which is payroll taxes, $3,056.36. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Move that we pay
I'm sorry, Jonathan.
I'm looking for PO 3.
4-6.
Oh, I got it right here.
You've got it right there?
Okay, you got it.
Well, maybe a little bit. Okay.
Were you still looking through it?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Move that we pay PO 11043 from the Town General Fund with a period ending date of 11/18/2013 in the amount of $5,898.19.
Second.
Motion made and seconded for pay order 11043 from the general fund for $5,898.19. Discussion? I had a little discussion, and I don't know if this is the right place to do it, or we'll talk about it under law enforcement, but I was looking at the bill from the sheriff's department, and their total time spent last month is 2.5 hours in the town, and we're still paying $1,666.67 for 2.5 hours of patrol in the month. Now, I know that we're contracted with them, so I don't know where those hours land out. But I also understand that the fines have been down, so they haven't been patrolling much anymore. And I do know that other towns have had a problem with the sheriff's department not spending, the appropriate amount of time. So I think we have to pay the bill, but someone, and if it's me or whoever, I don't care, but we'll talk about it maybe more under law enforcement if you want to, but 2.5 hours is totally unacceptable, I think, for a whole month.
Well, yeah, maybe we can get this, the one that usually comes in here, see if we can get him for the next meeting. Is it Tyler?
Tyler. He's up, because he spent a whole hour here last month. Tyler was in for, Tyler Cook was here for 1.5 hours, and John Mariano was here for 1 hour.
How many hours a month are they supposed to spend in town?
And at $40 an hour, it's supposed to be pretty close to 40, 10 hours
Yeah.
a week. You know, I mean, plus
Yeah,
or minus.
that's about what the contract says. And I want to look back on the other bills too, because what alerted me is usually you see him around, and I haven't seen it for a few months now, so I don't know. Between now and the next meeting, we probably ought to just figure out how many hours they've been in the last 3 or 4 months. We'll call Tyler and ask him to come into our next meeting and discuss that, if that's okay. Any other discussion on warrant 11043 from the general fund for $5,898.19? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions?
Move that we pay PO 11044, it's from the highway fund, with a period ending date of 11/21/2013, in the amount of $13,027.36.
Motion made and seconded. Highway pay order 11044, $13,027.36. Discussion? All those in favor? Those opposed? Any abstentions?
Move that we pay PO 11045 from the town equipment fund with a period ending date of 11/24/2013 in the amount of $816.92.
Second.
Motion made and seconded for town equipment fund pay order 11045 for $816.92. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Move that we pay PO 11046 from the town general fund in the amount, with a period ending date of 11/18/2013 in the amount of $6,150.00.
Second.
Motion made and seconded for pay order of general fund 11046 for $6,150. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman, that is from the assessment firm, and I believe that
Marizov assessment?
Marizov assessment
Reappraisal.
for reappraisal, and I believe that more than this amount is due back to the town under the liquidated damages clause. Therefore, I will not be, even though I moved the motion, I will not be voting to pay this bill.
I would also say I submitted that for discussion purposes. It probably isn't due for 30 days, so it could carry to the next meeting. But anyway, I wanted it in the system here so that you would know that the invoice does say that his work is complete at the bottom. And I believe he's dropped off all his final paperwork that would be the final bill, the 10% holdback bill that he has submitted, just so that everybody is aware of that.
Right.
The reappraisal from the assessment firm, at any rate, the reappraisal is over with, and we have our final bill. So,
But as far as we're concerned as a board, we're not satisfied and we're not prepared to pay that at this point in time.
but I don't think it's going to be delinquent by waiting until the 18th, which would be your next meeting. I mean, it just arrived, basically, so.
Okay. Well, the motion's on the floor for pay order 11046, Town General Fund for Mayor's Off, $6,150. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay.
Move that we pay PO 11047 from the Highway Fund with a period ending date of 11/24/2013 in the amount of $6,925.97.
Motion made and seconded for Town Highway Fund pay order 11047, $6,925.97.
This is
Discussion?
with, this is our salt bill,
Cargo.
cargo salt.
Were you gonna check and see if that,
Kurt, do you remember the price that they were supposed to reduce it to?
Yeah,
Per ton?
56.
So they gotta reduce it.
In the last minutes, there is a record that they did reduce, they agreed to meet that price from American, I believe it was.
Mhm.
It's the same as American because they got the bid, American got the bid and also
For the state.
For the state.
so how much was it?
56 and change.
Cause they charge us $58.65.
It should be 56. And that's what I believe. I had to pay for it.
Should we,
Maybe
Well,
it is 58.
if it's not what they agreed to pay, then we
Then
ought
we
not
ought
pay
to-
it.
Fail this one and
have them rate?
pick it up next month.
I mean,
So somebody needs to contact them just to have them send us.
I have the agreement in the township.
Okay.
They even. It's supposed to be the same as American. But that's what the state went with both of them. Which confused me in the beginning. Because it's,
Then I would move to put this bill on, leave this bill on the table.
Right, well, there's a motion on the table to pay order from the Highway 11047 for $6,925.97.
Seconded by Scott.
And seconded. All those in favor? All those opposed? And any abstentions? So now there's a motion to table.
And
Sorry, yeah, we ain't
we've
gonna.
gone
it's
past
the
that.
same amount as American, like we discussed before.
I mean, if $58.65 is what,
Maybe it's 65.
if it's right, we can pay it, right? I mean, we can pay it our next meeting.
We can pay it at our next meeting.
We'll find out.
I'll tell you guys.
All right. Finally, I move purchase order 11048 is the Highway Fund with a period ending date of 11/14/2013 in the amount of $107,154.61.
I'll second it.
Motion's made and seconded for pay order, Highway pay order 11048 for $107,154.61. Discussion.
First of all, this has a $3,040 bill from the Washburn Vault Company, which I believe is for
East Hill project?
East Hill project.
We did receive an invoice from them, I believe a month ago, something like that, and that was turned over. I believe it was given to Mr. Amidon, and as a consequence, we didn't pay the bill. This is the second notice, which indicates that he didn't pay the bill either. So that's why it's in the queue here for tonight, for discussion. They poured head walls or something for the
They were precast head walls.
precast.
Correct.
And
So-
we didn't believe at that time that the town was gonna bear the cost of that.
And the
So-
town should not bear the cost of that.
And then, yeah, the other part was the asphalt.
And the other part is the asphalt with, an asphalt adjustment of,
Shrimp cents, right? There's an upcharge.
40 cents?
40 cents upcharge.
40 cents per ton,
Yeah.
Which is like $800 or something.
which is $577.21.
I'd have to look at the contract, I don't know if it's saying.
And I can't remember if we said anything in there about an upcharge.
You wrote the contract, I don't know.
Well,
Right.
we'll have to review.
We'll have to
I don't
review
think
that,
so.
so both of these,
I mean, I guess if you want to make a motion to pay without that adjustment,
Or pay it pending verification of the contract.
You know, instead of leaving him hanging for the money he has up in his asphalt right now, you could pay without that and then
right?
go back to the future. The time and date.
So you wanna make an adjustment on that?
I'll make
invoice?
make an adjustment to the motion to change the amount to $103,537.40, which is
The amount less.
the amount less the upcharge and less the Washburn vault.
And we got the tickets on what they put down, right? Whatever that is, I don't know how many tons it was.
Further discussion? So the motion, first motion on the floor, right, is Highway Fund 11048 for $107,154.61. All those in favor?
Well, we need
It
to
has
do
been
the,
amended.
we need to do the amendment first,
Oh, I'm sorry.
which would be the amendment to
Amendment to 103,537.40.
103,537.40.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay.
And then that would make that the main motion.
That's the main motion. So the motion again is Highway Pay Order 11048 adjusted to 103,537.40. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Report Highway Foreman.
Past couple weeks, gone to a couple different classes on winter equipment maintenance, right-of-way course, trees, and our right-of-ways, trees, policies and procedures and stuff. And I'd like to have Mr. Hagee update on the town website. There's a policy and ordinance section on our website that really doesn't have anything in it but parking ordinance. And for right-of-way or curb cut driveway access, you could put in that document of the application for the right-of-way and access application.
You want the application form in there?
Yeah.
That's all?
And I have some copies of some other towns' tree ordinances and policies. We could go with those, I'll take some ideas from them and then tweak it on our own to fit our town.
Mm-hmm.
And right-of-way ordinances, there's a ton of stuff. You know, that includes mailboxes, that includes springs, that includes all kinds of stuff within our right-of-ways that bother us, and even trees that correspond with that. And we could put that policy, we should adopt a policy for our right-of-ways also. Culvert conditions of people's driveways and who maintains them and stuff like that. And I think it would be good to have that on our website, because people call me quite often, and I could just say, well, go here. I don't know how to do it from my mind verbatim. I could say, look at our ordinance policies and see what you come up with on your own, and then I could take it from there. But there's not a lot on our website, so I think that would really help things out.
So are you gonna draft something up for that?
With David?
Yeah, the three of us can discuss it.
Yeah.
We have
There's
other
so
policies that need to be put on. as
There's
well.
so much stuff in these right-of-ways, you know, we don't need all these policies that these big towns have or these little cities. But there are a lot of things that can apply to our town and what we deal with.
Speaking of right-of-way, has the basketball hoop been moved?
It has not.
Okay. The basketball hoop I'm discussing is one that's
a
well
right-
within the right-of-way,
High school?
back.
Back when we were.
Yes.
You got a copy of the letter?
Before you go for
A letter. You haven't read a letter?
I did have a right here.
Yeah.
Did you email me?
Yeah, I gave you a copy, put it in the box.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, yeah, there was a copy.
No, yes, I did get that copy.
Yes. That was 3 weeks ago, 4.
That was a month ago. And I stopped at the homeowner there and spoke to the person that were renting it or whatever. And of course, they shook their head yes. And they walked away. They must have went like this because it hasn't been done. And it is within our right of way. We can hit it with a plow. I don't want to damage it. We can pull it out nicely and lay it on their lawn. But if not, we'll pull it out.
They've done more than they should, right?
Yes.
With a letter and a verbal, yeah. And this morning, we started going through our equipment, getting ready for winter. And I mean, our plows are all set. Doing a little tweaking on one plow and an adjustment on the back there that we already did on T8. And we're pretty well set. If it does snow, we can go right to plowing right now, but hopefully not for a while. But it's long-range forecast. There are some different things coming up in the next 15-day forecast that we should be ready for. State of Vermont is already salted. Black ice. They've had accidents on Route 30, the Rockingham Bridge. You don't know. I hate to say it.
Hate to have it.
Grader tires are on order.
Grader tires are on order. Yeah, I called them last week. Wally did not get back to me from Pete's Tire Barn. I think it was in the Bradbury form, or maybe it was that day when they were quoting him. I don't know. But, I'll give him a call this week and see again. Oh, T9 is at Porter Diesel getting the front end alignment. We thought it was just a front end alignment. They found a rear spring out of whack. There's an aluminum block in the back of in between the spring and the axle. The hole in the aluminum block was oblong. The center bolt was damaged but not broke. So they're going to replace the center bolt and the aluminum block. It's a wedge type block. And then they'll do the alignment because instead of us bringing it home and bringing it back and bringing it home, they're going to do the work right over there, which shouldn't be too bad at all. So,
Did they give you a cost?
no, they did not. It shouldn't be bad. It's just center bolt.
Is it a shim? Is it a support rack? What is it?
The wedge,
Yeah.
it goes in between the spring and the axle.
Okay.
And the center bolt goes into that.
Okay. And the health plan, because it's going to be coming up later in the, has everybody had a chance to look through that? You still have questions?
I'm talking to my wife. They had a meeting. The school had a meeting with the teachers on one of these things they had last week or the week before. And I mean, they have people who can explain things. I think, like myself, I would stay with their health plan. But you know, we talked about optical. We don't have optical. You know, offering. You guys offer that now. You know, for the employee having some type of coverage, we have to cover our costs for the other health plan. You know. Have to cover our deductible and stuff. That's all going to be hashed through you guys. And she has dental. The school has dental. Don't have optical. Don't have.
So it really varies from one employee to the next.
Right.
Variance of
Yeah.
what's appropriate for.
Exactly. And I know other employees we have the town's full plan, and the other employee has his wife's plan. So.
Well, there was a rush in the last week, 10 days, to get this kind of buttoned up, and as of Friday morning, the state has extended it to March 31st, I believe, and that's taken a lot of pressure off of everybody. This board will have to decide what it wants to do, whether it wants to sign up for Vermont Health Connect or stay with Blue Cross Blue Shield for its municipal employment health coverage that it presently has. But either way, that's optional, and there's no fixed deadline that we have to make a decision by. But the state's program is supposedly up and running, and the municipality will be.
But the Blue Cross and Blue Shield is going to extend beyond December 31st.
Yes,
I mean,
and that's through
that
VLCT. That will,
question.
yeah. But there are a lot of issues to be worked out with that, because nobody knows how to cost it out for one quarter, and whether that's going to be the real deadline or not, or whether it gets extended again. Depends on how this all works out. But at least for the moment, we didn't have to decide by Friday. I spent most of last week getting ready for Friday.
But regardless, we should, even though it's extended out, we should make a decision
Because we do have to stay with the plan that we presently have, and that should be
Correct.
offered to us.
Yep.
I mean, that should be continuing at least until March 31st. Or, if the select board chooses, it can change to the Vermont Health Connect programs and the MVP Blue Cross Blue Shield
We're gonna
packages that you and I
discuss
have talked
further
about
down,
at some length. But in any event, there's no hurry to make that decision for the immediate present anyway. And that's the big change in that, so.
Another thing, Ed Smith and I'd like, and probably Bob also, our personnel policy, we have some questions on it. I have all the personnel policies. There's been like 4 or 5 of them since I started here. They keep changing and not always for the better. And we'd like to have a little powwow about that sometime. So all the select boards are on the same page, the members are on the same page. And I really would like to get our timesheets straightened out, so we know exactly what we have again for personal days or vacation days or sick days, because I know what we have from what I have written down, but I want to know what we have on record here that shows what I've had written down also. 'Cause
Correct. And Craig and I have a little bit more additional work to do, and then we're going to be coming to talk to the 3 of you.
Because the way they have it
On
straightened,
that.
their format sucks. I mean, compared to what they had before.
Yeah, and the only constant in banking and payroll is change, but there's some.
This is the same people did it before.
That's correct, but as they change systems, come on, you know programmers, they
Yeah, I
change
do.
things to make it better, and it
Makes it more
inevitably makes
complicated and
it
it changes it, right.
more complex. So, but like I said, Craig and I have some additional work that we've got to do, and then we'll be back in touch. And the form that you're currently sending in, we've got some draft changes that we'd like to make to that. So
On my end, or
on your end,
on my end? 'Cause I
So
don't know.
that-
You put it in the computer and send it to them, though, right?
Yeah, I take your time sheets, I tally them up, I check them over more or less. I mean, I just do the quick look at, make sure everybody was here. And when I put them in to the Encore online banking through People's Bank, who does our payroll services, there are slots for 6 days, vacation days, I don't think personal days, but I mean, I can allocate it out. So I have to do the math, and you work 72 hours, take 1 day, you get 80 hours, but one was a vacation day or a sick day, kind of thing. So I tally that. And then we should get, and we do get, reports from them, but I don't know how accurate those are compared to your records or the commissioner's records or anything prior to my time on this.
Because you have a copy, or you have it on file, or more or less.
Right, but they're tallying from January 1st, we're tallying from July 1st. The government and the retirement systems are, starting October 1st for their fiscal years. It gets interesting very quickly. But anyway, I'd like to have a definitive, this is what you guys have, and then we can do drop down. I mean, every time you use a day, it's just gonna take off a day kind of thing, until whatever the time frame for a rollover or for that to expire comes up.
if I make a change to the form that you have, then we can incorporate that, so that as you put in that, okay, this is a vacation day or this is a sick day, then it can deduct it and
There's room on your
help
computer
you
for
and help us track
a
it.
slot there, so to speak. So
So,
Right.
we haven't forgotten about it, it's just slowly bubbling.
Well, I get
up to the
reminded
top.
a lot.
Yes.
and you remind me, and I remind David, and he talks to Chad.
Anything else in
The
highway?
only thing, we have a little drainage problem at the bottom of East Hill, like we're by near the pit entrance, where you cross the road.
East Hill?
Isn't that East Hill, the Speedway?
Yeah, drainage problem, nothing, no. You mean like a,
Do you know about it?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a drainage problem where the road is actually pitched toward the south. And I'm hoping by the logging and the reworking of the entrance that we can pitch the road.
is that above Kristen Petty's driveway?
Yes. No,
No, well, it's right at the bottom.
it's right at the bottom of the hill.
Is there a culvert, like that dry culvert plug or something, or
No, there's no culvert plug.
nothing?
No, because I just cleaned all those culverts with the backhoe, and when we opened
We
the
know
road up.
the road, I haven't been down, I just,
It just,
Is it by the paved driveway? There's a short paved apron right above Sullivan's house there.
no, it's pitched to drain into Sullivan's,
What? What?
East Hill,
At the bottom.
at the bottom.
What? His. Yeah, where's he? I mean, his yard and everything is below the road.
His yard and everything is below the road, and the road, at that point, the road is actually pitched south.
It's not crowned.
It is crowned, but it's crowned, if you went from the north side, the pit side of it, to the opposite side, Sullivan's side, you'll see that the entire road is pitched. It has a crown, or it did before it was flattened out for getting ready for winter. It had a crown, but it was still pitched to drain the water off onto his side. And there's some additional work that needs to be done when we log and whenever we put in the new, rework the driveway going into the pit. There's some work that we can do to take care of that. So that it would straighten out and shift some more of the water toward the,
I haven't been down.
a little bit
just-
toward the pit
I got-
entrance.
sorry.
So, yeah, I've spent a couple of days looking at that.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, no, I didn't know there was a problem. Nobody ever mentioned it. When you live below the road, though, the water has to go off the road, and where's it go? It goes off the road to the lower spot. So that's.
Well, and it can go off the road on,
I can't make it go off the road on the higher spot. That's for sure.
well, the pit driveway is lower as well.
Payday's on Friday, and water runs downhill.
Yes. So,
All right, I'll take a look at it.
We'll spend 2 days looking at it. David looked at it for 2 days, don't you?
David's just learning this.
Huh.
And the backhoe batteries,
I knew, and then
are new and in?
Yeah.
Okay. Just for the rest of the board, last couple of years, we've been buying inexpensive plastic to cover the benches. And this year, Kurt managed to get all the benches fairly tightened up on the trailer. And you think that tarp's gonna work?
it's already working. Already
It's
tied
already
up.
working? Great, fantastic. So then, that way, we can use the same tarp from year to year. Just take it off and,
The Townsend Air Force has been really bombing us heavily.
so if anybody has a real good recipe for pigeon pie. and-
Swab. We prefer to call it swab.
Swab.
All right.
Anything else for highway? Anybody?
No, sir.
Good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Law enforcement, we've discussed that. Craig will invite Tyler Cook to our next
Once.
meeting. Town clerk's report, I did not see a town clerk's report in this one. Yes?
That may be from 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure.
I didn't see one.
That's 28.
Heard of general fund, but I didn't.
That would be good.
Did you have one?
I came in late, so I got one.
It's your door prize there. Kip probably took his on Tuesday, I don't know.
No, I didn't.
I don't seem to have one here. Mine's probably in the file because I have to put them in as deposits.
Questions? Anything for the town clerk's report? Treasurer's report?
You have $482,598.55 at the checking account. And,
That's before tonight's warrant.
yes, and after I go to the bank, your delinquents for the first quarter should be down at about 50,000. It's 61 right now, but I got 2 deposits to take down.
delinquents from Becky?
Mhm.
Or delinquents from Becky, or are these late, just
No, just
first quarter
late.
late payments?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And when is the second quarter due?
29th of November.
Okay.
Questions? Anybody, questions, comments, anything for the treasurer? Bookkeeper's report, bookkeeper, administrative assistant report, please change that.
I really don't have anything other than healthcare delay to March 31st. That's been a big issue for the last couple of weeks, but we get a pass on that one, at least for the immediate future. And it's just busy. Still on a learning curve, still working with everybody.
Questions,
Still trying to
anybody?
figure it out. I have a lot of questions, so I'm not going to talk about them on camera.
Oh. Members of the public, there are none. Must be Jan and Cynthia are upset or something, or maybe they're happy, I don't know.
Is Jan on?
No,
No, I guess Cynthia's on there.
No, neither
Something,
Cynthia.
Bob.
They just don't come anymore, I don't know. Correspondence, you said we had some.
We have had, and I'll just acknowledge, I think most have seen the notice from our attorney with regard to having sent a query off to Department of, I'm not even sure who we sent it to question the right-of-way access down here from the state environmental conservation commission, or whoever it was that the 250 permit goes through. And had a response from them to Leland and Gray, copied to us. So we were in receipt of that. There was a letter from Ms. Long, chair of the Leland and Gray School Board, acknowledging our letter of September, finally. And
Is that a
stating,
letter or email? That's-
that was a letter that came in the mail, I do believe. And just indicating that their board would like to talk to the select board at some time to discuss the nature of this right-of-way or their concerns about this right-of-way, however that works. That was a couple of weeks ago, but it was after the last meeting, I believe. There is correspondence from the State of Vermont Department of Taxes arrived today with regard to reappraisal evaluation. It's preliminary, but they have found in their 2013 equalization study with regard to the town-wide reappraisal that has been done. Of 3 parameters that they look at in particular, they have found no issues and have basically approved, at least on a preliminary basis, the reappraisal work that has been done. And I believe that is it.
So the CLA is gonna stay the same?
They haven't announced the new CLA. In fact, the COD hasn't been announced either. They're working on that. But in terms of the sales data that they've received, the number of properties that changed during the reappraisal, they're looking for 95%. They're looking for the ratio between homestead sales and non-residential sales as to the valuations. Those should be pretty much equal. Those came out okay, according to them, and one other parameter, which I didn't really understand either. Let's see. One is equal treatment of sold and unsold properties, and it appears to them that the sold properties were evaluated at about the same rate as the unsold properties. Yep, I forgot.
I got you.
Okay, so there's an extra copy there. Equal treatment of homestead and non-residential properties, so there's no question of variance in how those were assessed. And the other one was reappraisal coverage, percent of all parcels with changed values. When you're doing a reappraisal, they like all the parcels to be looked at. They expect that a vast majority, 95% of them, will change somewhat. And that is the case with this reappraisal, 95.57.
However, we can appeal the
Values
decision.
change. Right, there is, right, and again, this is preliminary. It does not announce a new CLA. It does not set a COD for us. Those will be coming in the next month or two, I'm sure. We have the right to question this and appeal it. just arrived today, haven't really looked at it, can't say that I understand it, and I'll talk to the listers about some of it tomorrow. But there is that. So they have at least received our reappraisal data and have begun to crunch the numbers.
Well, I just want to say, my quick review of that, I have some questions also for Bill Johnson and that whole thing. I mean, I don't know where you stand with it, but.
There's some things
So,
that need clarification.
I think we need some clarifications and understanding of that whole thing. All right. Any other correspondence?
There is an email that just came in, and this has been in the works for a couple of weeks, but there will be a meeting here for the West River Valley Route 30, Route 100 business interests. We'll be meeting on November 7th at the Townshend Town Hall. They had one here last month. This is being sponsored by the Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation. So it is November 7th, and the time, I believe, is 7 p.m. It is 7 p.m.
And also from the fire door, Southern Vermont.
Yep, quick update from Mr. Ingram. They should be starting here within the next week or 10 days, setting up and doing some of the demolition work.
Yep.
And the stove that was in the kitchen, that was sold last year, is now removed. Was removed this weekend.
Hey.
Thanks to Mr. DeGrunner.
All right, old business, Silver and Solar.
I contacted them. We talked about that briefly at the budget meeting. There was a question that Peter Thorell asked with regard to the Grafton turn. He would like to clear, or have cleared, the area inside the Horseshoe Drive up off Grafton Road, the road to Grafton, Townsend Road, and add a few more solar panels in there. That little Horseshoe Drive actually has a little woodland down toward the pavement, and there was discussion just at the budget meeting very casually about whether the state would permit that. There is an application into the state for permitting Sovereign Solar and the municipality to set up a 150 kW solar, net metering solar array up there. He would like to extend the area that he looked at from the road and from the crown of that hill back more toward the pavement and the Grafton Road, and have the town or somebody clear some of the scrub that's out of there and basically level that area. There is concern on the part of the board, members of the board, as to whether the state would permit that. So Sovereign Solar is going to request that the state clarify, if they award us a permit to put in this solar array, that they clarify how much construction work, how much heavy excavating and whatever can be done in the area out there. There is thought that...
Did you talk to
I talked to Marie. I talked to Marie about it. She said there's no problem. She was going to call up there actually and just ask the question directly.
Right. Good.
But I indicated that the town didn't have an objection to doing it, but would not go forth on its own without something in writing from the state that says that we can enter that property.
We can do that. Right.
Because you had indicated, it was before my time, but you'd indicated when that dump site was closed, it was kind of a leave this alone area. And as far as the town was concerned, nothing much
more. You can't go in
more.
there with bulldozers and start leveling, that's what we're talking about,
Right.
without express written permission from A&R and all the other agencies in the state. If they're
So
gonna do that, I don't.
As Sovereign Solar is handling the application process, and this is their question, they will handle that part of it too, so that if the state does approve,
Yep.
they're putting that in. The state will also look at that particular area that they'd like to change.
Good. Property maps.
I've heard nothing new on that. I know the listers are continuing to provide sales data to the company that is, Dashi Kramer, that is preparing the updated maps.
Right of way at Lewin and Gray. We pretty much talked about that, other than, I know you gave.
I did, right, I did invite, or at least provide contact information to the superintendent in case you wanted to come tonight or have a representative from Townsend or a member of Leland and Gray's board come tonight to discuss their concerns about this right away. I do not believe that the town has. It might in some archived file somewhere, but I don't believe we have any of the engineering data specific to that right of way, other than drawings on a map. I mean, other than rough layouts. Certainly, you know, grade points and contours and elevation changes and all that. We don't have the engineering data. I would assume that Stevenson Association or Greenberg does. I would assume that the school has access to that. The way I read the correspondence that came in was that they would like to discuss the particulars. I don't know that the municipality has anything to offer by way of particulars other than road standards information that the commissioners might have, or a request that it'll be easier to keep it plowed with a snow blower if it's paved rather than gravel, but if it's paved, anyone going down that hill in the wintertime is going to be looking for sand and salt as well, because the schoolhouse is right at the end of the skid if it's slippery. So,
Well, you did give Stephen John my home phone number, so he
I actually
can come to
did,
me.
yes.
And,
And David's and Teddy's and just about everybody's like,
yeah, I mean, I think it's appropriate, and I'm happy to meet with him. I'm sure David is too. Stand out here and look and say, this is what we want, right? I mean, it's, so he knows that we're available. All he's got to do is get in touch with us.
and I assumed that to be the
To
case.
me-
I just wanted to
mean,
make
just
sure that was
To
the
me,
case.
to my vision, I know, and you guys can say anything, but, you know, it's pretty cut and dried. It was all laid out, what they were supposed to do back then. They didn't do it.
And I believe the communication from the state to Leland and Gray gave them a deadline of, I'm thinking, November 27th
To have it done.
to basically have that done. So, discussion at this point, I mean, you
Not
know,
much
is certainly
to discuss.
welcome, but I don't sense that the board has.
But I
much
don't
to
mind, you know, we'll go out there and we'll walk down through and say, right? I mean, it's, here it is. Okay. Anybody comments on right away? Okay. Fire doors, we pretty much just covered that. The doors are supposed to be in by the 18th. That's what it said. We have a ship date of November 18th for fire doors.
The pictures, I didn't notice. We're
The
gonna do some
pictures are still up.
The pictures are still up. We'll get those down. They're just hanging on screws. I'll commandeer some more heavy boxes. We'll wrap them in tissue paper, set them aside, lock them up somewhere, and see where they go after this is done. I suspect they won't be out of here for a couple of weeks into December by the time everything's said and done. But hopefully they can get some of the preliminary work done
Yeah.
prior to the doors arriving.
Ancient roads. I did read your email to me that you copied to me, and what you had thought. We didn't have any discussion on them before, but
I mean, I went through it pretty quick, but that was my first.
yeah. I mean, I don't know where, Hetty had said that she tried to find documentation somewhere, and I don't remember what it was now, but.
Well, I mean, hopefully things are slowing down for me next month, maybe it'll.
If you want to light a fire
Start
on me and
spending
you
some
or
time.
something, at least get something drafted out so we can get it wrapped up. Town hall heating system,
We will have some oil coming for these tanks. I'm going to call this week. There's approximately a quarter of a tank down there right now for heating the upstairs, quarter tank of oil. And we need to probably have a little more because the upstairs is going to be used, and I do believe that kicks on occasionally. It should be in fairly good operational shape. We haven't tried it yet this year, but I'm not going to fill both the big tanks. There was some question as to the integrity of the tanks and how tippy they were and all of that. So I may just order like 200 gallons at a shot, just keep an eye on the gauge. But that should be coming toward the end of this week, I would think.
Should we try to get somebody to clean? Or do you think
There has
it hasn't
been-
used that much?
Joe gave me a reference, I just didn't make the call. Anita gave me another one. But yeah, we should probably have it looked at. Although it was cleaned and serviced last year, and it was not used
it
very
really
heavily.
wasn't used.
So it should be.
Changing out the filters, checking the exhaust pipes and and all that. Shouldn't take anybody but an hour just to go through it. We've not done anything with the boiler and this other oil furnace that's down here that's providing blower use. But as that was all completed last year in December, I would assume that everything is okay. But those should probably be monitored and checked at some point as well, being new, presumably under warranty.
I gotta talk to Warren about programmable thermostats, maybe I'll
Yeah.
ask him about the
Ask them about
the
that.
flaps or whatever they're called.
Yep.
Dampers.
Little dampers, zone dampers.
Municipal health insurance.
Craig and I continue to work on, we've gained a little bit of time, and we'll have something for you by the next meeting so that we can have a budget set.
Well, just to update you guys, at our last budget meeting, we spent quite a lot of time because we were trying to figure out how to budget, and we thought we were going to be in a little bit more of a crunch. But we kind of come to one spot of the platinum plan, is that right?
Correct.
And adding eyeglass, eye care, optical care, and dental care. And it still comes out a little bit cheaper than what you're paying right now for that plan. And that's what I was saying earlier tonight, even though they've extended it out to March, I mean, we may not choose to wait. I think that, we ought to just move ahead.
And we discussed it, I discussed it with the members of the highway department, and only one member of the highway department is currently using our insurance. The other two members are using their spouse's insurance, and they were going to start the discussion with their spouses so that we would know how much we got to budget.
Yeah.
5 employees are eligible, 3 have insurance outside of the municipality at the moment. Everything was kind of in flux with a really hard deadline. And David and I have talked about this on a number of occasions. We've sat down once or twice for a length of time. One of the things that I think will be probable is a change in policy, an announcement of policy for the benefit of employees and how these things break down and what their opportunities are.
Correct.
So that someone like me, I have insurance through my wife at this present point in time. She's a school teacher. It's Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's a very good plan. But I don't have vision insurance. Well, the vision insurance proportion of what the town might be offering to all of its employees is like $4 a month per employee. Well, I would pick up on that in a heartbeat, even though I don't have eye problems, but it would send me in once a year to get a checkup and all of that. But I mean, those are the, right, and dental insurance I presently have, but I don't know how long that's going to last. Other employees may pick and choose,
Correct.
Through that system, if that's part of the policy. But I laud the municipality for looking to expand that, and right now, with Vermont Health Connect, it looks like there is, some opportunity for savings on the part of the municipality, and some opportunity for co-pay savings on the part of employees. I think deductibles rise accordingly, and certainly you don't want to end up in the hospital. But that having been said, I think the premium payments are down and fairly attractive.
All right. Compactor.
Just quick, back to, do you want me to have Warren check the dampers, or you think we're good, or?
On the heating system? Yeah, check them.
Lister's was way too hot, Anita's was way, the
Well, I
office
think
is
we
too
get
cold.
the programmable.
If we get the
like
programmable
$50 a
thermostat,
spot,
it should do that.
Make a difference.
Check, make sure that's all working. I think it's money in the bank to have the check. Done right.
Once the fire doors are in as well, don't forget, we're gonna lose the chimney effect of, even though there's plywood on the stairway, we'll lose that effect of most of the heat wandering up and most of the cold coming down. So that should change the nature of, and the efficiency of the heating system.
Okay.
So now when them fire, can we back up, maybe digress or whatever, but when them fire doors are in there, that plywood's gonna be still there on the foot of the stairs?
Probably not. There won't be any reason for it. It'll be cold from the fire doors forward
That's what I'm saying.
to the main
I don't know
doors.
if
That'll
it's
act as an
keeping it.
airlock. There shouldn't be a heating register on that side on the main floor. If that's
Right.
moving to this side, I don't know if there's a cold air return. Bathroom doors will probably have to be closed in order to stay warm, but in essence, the fire doors will act as a,
Bathroom doors are gonna be on the
This side.
warm
they'll be
side.
on this side. That's right. That's right. The
That's right.
access is changing, so.
That's right. My wonder was, is that'll still act like a draft going up the stairs, and it would behoove us to put some kind of a barrier.
No, it
It
won't
should-
act like a draft
Should be
because
out to the outdoors pretty much.
When you open that door to come in,
That's gonna suck.
it's
cold
gonna
air
suck
up
it
there,
right
isn't it?
up the stairs.
Right, but we don't heat that, right?
No, you don't heat it, but when you got a blizzard going on out there,
Oh, I
when
got
you
it.
open that first door, it's gonna pull cold air upstairs.
we
You
might
know, I
want,
mean, there's still a difference in temperature. And my thought was it would behoove us to have some kind of a barrier there.
The plywood can certainly,
Prevent that.
the barrier that's presently at the bottom of the stairs or on the stairs right now can certainly stay there.
That's a ugly thing.
Yes, it is. It's not very efficient. They're not easy to deploy or take apart and
They
put
make
back
curtains and
up.
stuff, don't they, that are tight
Something.
as
I was just saying that from this side of the heating system, it's gonna be much more efficient once those doors are in there to act as that break from the cold coming in
It
every
is.
time the front door's open. In terms of the upstairs, no, the upstairs is gonna get colder and colder.
Colder and
And that
colder.
cold is gonna come down through the ceiling to the extent that it comes down.
Well, I don't know that, but I just think that some sort of a barrier on the stairs when
Yeah.
it's not in use is in order.
And there should be a curtain
My
quilt
second
or
part
something
of that
very
is,
heavily weighted
yes,
that
and heavily, you know,
Form fits.
quilted.
Yeah.
Check in and see what you can find, would you?
Okay.
Just to, I mean, it doesn't seem like it'd be very expensive to put some quilted, something that's gonna look
So
better.
they
than-
move to
Does
easily.
the auction house ever sell sewing machines or anything?
Yeah,
Fabric?
we got a treadle sewing machine coming up Saturday.
Yeah.
Scatter rugs, you got old rugs that you could just hang a rug up, nail it up if you wanted. Burlap or
Yeah.
something.
Sold some nice fabric a couple of weeks ago there, kid.
I know, a lot of it, huh? All right, compactor.
Just on there to keep it on there.
compactor, I do have a permit for, the road to
Taft Meadows?
Taft Meadows. I just have not finished filling it out.
Okay. In UniFirst, you have nothing?
First, there are a couple of other firms that I need to contact, and then we'll continue the discussion.
Other old business, the piano.
I have talked to a number of people. There are notices up. It's not on the website yet, but there are a couple of notices up offering free piano. Call 365-7300.
If
And
you
it
would
is in
please
minutes.
put that on the website, if
Yep.
anybody wants that piano free, I believe that's a desire or wishes of the board.
Yes.
Would you specifically ask Jane Stoll if
Yes.
she may like it?
Yes.
And specifically ask Cynthia Davis.
Already have.
I think they both expressed an interest that should be kept.
And I spoke with Ned Phoenix as well.
Okay.
I think we need to, is that stove still in there?
Gone.
No,
It's
I
gone.
Gone
Moved it
Saturday.
last week.
Saturday morning.
And Ned Phoenix said,
Ned Phoenix said, ask Kid about how well old pianos find new homes, and yeah. It, unfortunately, I mean, it was a quality instrument in its day, 1930s, I assume. But it is broken on the inside. There's some hammers that are broken. And unfortunately, there are very good ones that come up for sale now and then for very little money. They weigh a lot, and
all right,
for a few $100 you can get a computerized one that only takes up, someone for, well, I mean, for portability and whatever. They
right.
weigh a ton.
Yeah.
There's a lot there.
I'm sure, what are you gonna give it another month or so? I mean, I'm sure.
We'll have, we will, no, I will remove that if, I mean, we'll get it removed. I have no problem taking it out. But we'll have it removed if somebody doesn't want it, but it should go out before work in the hallway begins.
That's right.
And that was the real push for, well, the stove should have gone a year ago, but that was part of the push for that, is that a new threshold will be going down. It's gonna be very expensive. It's gonna have automatic locking devices in it and whatever. Stuff will move across it, but we just don't wanna do that after they begin work. We'll get it out here before the weather changes. We'll get it out before Ingram comes in to do some construction in the hallway.
Any other old business? New business? Other business?
How are we at, where are we at with Did they do anything with the gravel cutting it up?
Timber?
Yeah. they understand.
The contract was signed
Yeah.
last,
Contract was signed?
That was gravel, that was crushing.
gravel crushing. The
Gravel
contract
crushing.
was awarded for the logging,
Yeah.
and,
Last I heard, he'd sent it, the contract for the contract.
yeah, I haven't seen a return on that.
Um,
I scheduled, just down under meeting schedules coming up, budget meeting for the 12th. I'm not sure that you selected that, but I put it in there.
Board
anyway.
of Civil Authorities meeting at evening
that's
at
right.
6 o'clock.
On the 12th?
On the 12th.
Okay, so we're not having a budget meeting on the 12th. That's gonna be a BCA meeting.
Checklist.
That's right, that came through today from Anita as well. So you should have a checklist there.
And before we leave, if we can discuss East Hill Road for a moment. I asked the question from the board onto East Hill and the overage. And the response from the engineer is that we completed some grade calculations for the lower portion of East Hill Road through the corner and determined the grades were steeper than desired. It's not 100% clear as to what caused the change in road grade, but the following likely contributed to the change. One was reduction in available on-site fill, which caused the project to try to minimize bringing in additional fill. Two, Fairpoint truck grade hours from the grade stakes. And three, adjustment of the centerline location to minimize the fill required on the north side of the road. Also, the tested compaction levels for the fill material were higher than 95%. The compaction results ranged from 98.4 to 102.3. The higher compaction rates may have compacted the soils more than anticipated and may have resulted in less available fill soil under the roadway. The second question I asked was on the difference amount, because we noticed that the amount bid plus the overage came to $141,000, and the bill was for roughly $137,000. And the engineer says that the contract with Amidon Construction is called a unit price contract, which means that they get paid for only the work that they completed. In this contract, we measured what was installed, and Amidon Construction was getting paid for what was installed. Some items they installed more than was listed in the bid form, and some items they installed less than what was listed on the bid form. He goes into detail of what they installed, but that the town of Townsend should only pay Amidon Construction for $137,126, which was the amount that they requested. So even though the amount, the bid plus the overage
Came to 140.
Yep.
came to 141, the amount that was installed was the 137,126.
Does that in there anywhere indicate if that's Washburn Vault is?
This
Part of
does
that?
not, but a prior discussion with both the engineer and Mr. Amidon was that Washburn Vault was
Amidon's responsibility?
Amidon's responsibility. And we've set that aside, and I will follow up with them
Okay.
on that.
Anything else?
So at this point, once we're sure that Washburn Vault is finished, then I'll begin the process to close this out with the state of Vermont and through the state of Vermont with FEMA so that we can get reimbursement.
Good. Anything else?
Executive, yes, now?
Entertain a motion.
End of meeting. Make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, there it is. Motion to adjourn.
Okay, Eddie, look at the clock and make sure that you can see that it's 7-Eleven.